Hey everyone. Before we jump into today's episode, I want to share something with you. I'm currently moving through a pretty big life transition, a new career path, selling my home, and stepping into a whole new chapter. Because of that, over the next few weeks, I'm bringing back a handful of episodes, past episodes that I feel are near and dear to my heart and something I would like to dive into a bit more when I come back. But if you've heard this one before, I invite you to listen with fresh ears. There may be something new that lands differently for you. And if it's new to you, I'm really excited for you to experience it. So thank you for being here and for your continued support while I move through this season. I'll be back very soon with new episodes, but for now, let's dive in. If you've ever told yourself, I'm not going to get my hopes up, or I'm just going to go with the flow, I need you to keep listening because what sounds like spiritual surrender might actually be something else entirely. I call it pre-rejection. Today, we're diving into the quietest sabotage patterns there is, the one where you reject yourself before anyone else gets the chance to. This episode is episode 4 of Situationships. And if you listened to the last episode about payoffs and that made you feel uncomfortable, this one's going to show you why you've been choosing uncertainty in the first place. Let's get started. Welcome to Rooted and Rising. I'm your host, Tara Michelle, intuitive guide, storyteller, and fellow traveler on this wild path of becoming. This is a space for the soul-led, for the ones unraveling old stories, tending to their healing and rising, not perfectly, but powerfully into who they are here to be. Here we explore what it means to live with intention, to love with depth, and to trust that even the hard things are shaping us. I'll share pieces of my own journey, the cracks, the beauty, the breakthroughs, and invite voices who are walking this path too, because I believe life isn't happening to us, it's happening for us. So come as you are, root in and rise up. And thank you, truly thank you for being here. Welcome back to Rooted and Rising, everybody. I am your host, Tara Michelle. This is a show where personal growth meets real life, intuition, healing, honest conversations that are going to help you break patterns, come back to yourself, and build relationships that are rooted, steady, and true. And I want everybody to know here, this is education and reflection. It is not therapy or medical advice. And so we're just going to jump right in today. Um, if you've been following the series, here's where we are. Okay. Those of you that are new, the last 3 episodes, I believe that's 46, 47, 48. Those are the episodes to go back and look at. But if you've been following the series, episode 1, we named the almost there relationship. Those situationships that have chemistry, connection, depth, but they never quite arrive to a commitment. Episode 2, we talk about why rooted love can feel unfamiliar, why steady can feel boring, while calm can feel suspicious, and you've literally been conditioned by chaos. Episode 3, which was last week, we went deep into the payoff and we looked at what you're actually getting from staying in almost there dynamics, whether it's protection from rejection, control through analysis, or avoiding real intimacy and not having to choose back. That was really one that I had to grapple with. So today we are looking at something even more subtle. The quiet belief that rejection is inevitable and how to prepare for it before it happens. I call this expecting the no. And it's one of the most powerful patterns that can keep people stuck. So here's the thing. Expecting the no doesn't always sound like pessimism. It doesn't sound like I'm unlovable or nobody wants me. It doesn't sound like that. It disguises itself really well. It sounds spiritual. It sounds mature. It often sounds like, oh, I'm not getting my hopes up. Or I'm just going with the flow. Or if it's meant to be, it'll be. Or I don't want to pressure anything. Or I'm surrendering to the timing. And on the surface, These all sound reasonable, evolved even. But underneath a lot of those phrases is a quieter belief. If I expect less, I won't be as disappointed. And when you expect rejection, consciously or not, you begin choosing situations that confirm it. You start choosing people who are emotionally inconsistent. They avoid clear commitment. They keep one foot in or one foot out. They often offer connection without certainty, and they will give you just enough to stay, but you never feel secure. And not because you want to be hurt. That's not what this is, but because this dynamic feels familiar and survivable. It feels safe. You're not consciously afraid of love. What you're afraid of is the moment it could be taken away. So instead of risking a clear yes or a clear no, you will literally live in the in between. And in the in between, that's where situationships thrive. It feels safer there for many of us. I know I definitely felt safer in that place. So let me put real science on this and put it in plain language. There's research in social neuroscience showing that social rejection and exclusion activate the brain's distress and threat monitoring system. And the brain tends to process social exclusion like a real danger signal. And when someone has lived through repeated rejection, inconsistency, or unpredictable attachment, the brain can become more sensitive and it can start scanning for social threat. So here's what that means in real life. It's not that you're crazy. It's not that you're too much. Your system learned to stay alert. And studies also suggest that anticipating social judgment or feedback can activate the brain's monitoring and alarm systems too, meaning your body can begin bracing before anything even happens. So when you're telling yourself, oh, I knew this wouldn't work, it's only a matter of time, and don't get your hopes up. Your nervous system isn't experiencing peace, it's experiencing preparation. It's not always the exact same as the moment of rejection, but it can activate overlapping threat and distress circuitry, which means you're living in a state of chronic emotional readiness, as if something bad is about to happen. And that readiness shapes your choices. Because when you expect rejection, you unconsciously select partners who won't disprove that belief. You choose people who keep you at an arm's length because being fully met means you could be fully rejected. And to the survival part of your brain, that feels more terrifying than living in the space of almost. So let's get specific. Here's what expecting the no looks like in your day to day. Number one, you soften your needs before expressing them. Instead of saying, I need clarity about what's going on here. Instead of saying, I need clarity about where this is going, you say, no pressure, but whenever you're ready, you're preemptively making yourself smaller. So the rejection, if it comes, won't hurt as much. Number two, you interpret silence as confirmation. They don't text back for hours, and your mind immediately goes to, see, they're pulling away. I knew this was too good to be true. You're filling in the blanks with your worst fear, not with facts. Number three, you stay emotionally guarded even when things are good. Things are going well, and instead of relaxing into it, you brace. When is the other shoe going to drop? You can't fully receive what's being offered because you're waiting for it to be taken away. Number four, you choose people who confirm your belief. This is a big one. This is a really big one. You say you want commitment, but you keep choosing people who can't or won't give it. Not because you love pain, but because on a subconscious level, unavailable people feel predictable. They feel safe. And predictability, even when it's painful, can feel safer than the unknown of someone actually showing up. And here's the last one. Number 5, you call it protecting your peace when it's actually protecting your pattern. You tell yourself you're being wise, discerning, cautious, but what you're really doing is you're staying just far enough away that you never have to risk being all the way in. And I get that. I really get that because I've done every single one of these things I've just mentioned. I stayed in almost their relationships for years, telling myself I was going with the flow. But the truth was, I was terrified of being fully chosen because being chosen meant I'd have to fully show up. And if I fully showed up and they still left, that felt unbearable. Like even when I think about it in this moment, I can viscerally feel that in my chest. So I chose people who couldn't fully choose me. And I called it bad luck, but it wasn't luck. It was my version of pre-rejection. Now, here's what expecting the no quietly costs you. You ready? It costs your emotional energy because you're constantly scanning, analyzing, bracing, and that's exhausting. It costs you confidence in your own needs. When you soften your truth to avoid rejection, you lose touch of what you actually want. It costs you trust in your instincts. You second guess everything. Is this a red flag? Am I overacting? Am I asking too much? I, that that thing ran the show for me all the time. It also costs you a sense of safety within yourself because you can't relax. You can't receive, and you're always waiting for the ending. You're always waiting for that other shoe to drop. And over time, staying in this space doesn't just affect your relationships. It affects how you relate to you. Because when you consistently stay in spaces that don't fully meet you, your system adapts. It learns to settle. It learns to brace. It learns to expect less. And that adaptation, protective at first, eventually becomes your prison. So, how do you shift out of this? How do you shift out of it? It isn't about positive thinking. It isn't about forcing hope. Not at all. This really is about recognizing the pattern so it stops running you unconsciously. And here's what that shift could look like. I have some steps here and I want to go over them with you because this is the piece. This is the piece that is so crucial to shifting that pattern. Step 1, notice when you're bracing. Pay attention to the moments when you actually tell yourself, I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm not going to get my hopes up. Catch yourself when you do that. Pay attention to when you soften your needs before expressing them, or when you interpret someone's actions through the lens of rejection. Notice when you do that and feel yourself pulling back when things start to feel good. Notice that. Notice when you want to make excuses to not take part because everything's going too good. It's too good to be true. You know that voice? Now, I want you to just notice these things. There's no judgment here. It's absolute awareness within yourself because you can't change what you can't see. And this is about bringing those blind spots to the forefront. Step two, ask yourself a different question. Okay. Instead of, when is this going to fall apart? Ask, am I choosing from fear or clarity in this moment? That question will return you to agency. It will return you to your sovereign space within you. Am I choosing from fear or from clarity? Step three, name the evidence. This is a good one. When you feel yourself bracing, pause and ask, what evidence do I actually have that I'm being rejected? Not the interpretation, not your fear. Find the actual evidence because a lot of time you'll realize you're reacting from a story. You're not reacting from reality. Step four. I can't express this one loud enough. Stop choosing unavailability. If someone is showing you through their actions and not their words that they're not available for commitment, believe them. Believe them. Don't wait around hoping they'll change. Don't tell yourself, maybe in a few months. Choose yourself and walk away and run like your hair's on fire. It's one of my favorite sayings that an old mentor used to say, Tara, run like your hair's on fire. Because every day you stay in a space that isn't meeting you, you reinforce the belief that you're not worthy of being fully chosen. You reinforce that every time you stay. Step five, please practice receiving. This is a huge one for all those listening. Step into your feminine and practice receiving. When someone shows up consistent, clear, emotionally available, practice staying. Your nervous system is going to whisper things like, this won't last, don't trust it, sabotage it. Hey, look over there. Don't do this again. Stay away from that. You're going to hear all these things in the background. That's the old pattern trying to protect you. The practice is simple and brave, and it takes courage. Let yourself be met, even when it feels unfamiliar. Because rootedness isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with an exhale, with steadiness, with safety. And your job is to let your body learn that safety and to let your body learn and know that safety isn't suspicious. It's what you've been looking for. All right. Here's your homework for the week. I want you to do what I call the pre-rejection audit. Get out a journal and answer these honestly. These are good. It's a great practice. Question one, where in your current relationship or dating life are you embracing for rejection before it happens? Question two, what do you tell yourself when you feel yourself pulling back? Write down the exact phrases. They might sound like, I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm just being realistic. I'll just give it more time. Maybe I'll give them more space, etc. Write it down. And I say those things a little facetiously or like, sassy and sarcastic because I have been queen of those things. Question three, what would you do differently if you believed you were worthy of being fully chosen? What would you do differently? I don't want you to rush any of these questions, these answers. I want you to sit with it because this is where the shift starts, an honest acknowledgement of what's been running the show. And you don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't. And there's no getting the answers right. It's just it's just what's there. You just have to be willing to acknowledge and see your own personal patterns. And like I said earlier, it takes courage to get really straight with yourself. So here's what I want you to remember. Expecting the no isn't a character flaw. It is simply a survival strategy your nervous system learned. So at some point, bracing for rejection felt safer than hoping for something real. But what once protected you is now keeping you stuck. And the beautiful thing is once you can see the pattern clearly, once you acknowledge it, you can choose differently. You can stop living in pre-rejection. You can stop choosing people who confirm your fears. You can stop softening your needs to avoid disappointment. And you can start choosing from clarity, not from fear. Almost there is a pattern. All the way is a choice. And you're already on your way. If you want to go deeper with this work, I encourage you, grab the e-guide. It's called From Almost There to All the Way, a bold guide to ending situationships and choosing commitment. It's linked in the show notes, and it'll walk you through exactly how to break this pattern for good. And also feel free to drop me a DM or a comment. I do one-on-one sessions, and I'm happy to work with you through this process. But next week in episode 5, we're talking about when faith becomes waiting and how to tell the difference between trusting divine timing and abandoning yourself in the name of patience. So until then, notice when you brace and ask yourself if you're choosing from fear or from truth. That's it. That's the work. That's all you got to do. So I want to thank all of you for joining me this week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a blessed weekend and week, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for rooting in and rising with me today. If something in this episode stirred something in you, take a breath, take what you need, and let the rest soften. Be sure to follow the show so you don't miss what's next. And if you feel called, share this episode or leave a review. It helps the space grow and reach others on the path. Until next time, may you walk with trust, speak with love, and rise in your own time. I'm so grateful you were here with us, and thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next episode.